Hey guys, I am the Comics Kid 2099, and I am here to review a graphic novel for you. Batman Tarzan, Claws of the Catwoman. This is basically what it sounds like. It's a meeting between Batman and Tarzan. This is an Elseworld story, which means it is not part of the same universe of normal Batman stories. This story is set in the early 1940s or 1930s, somewhere around that time period, where Batman is an established crime fighter. He's been in Gotham for a little while, and Lord Greystoke, he is an established figure of lore. He's well known in Gotham City. When he's introduced to Bruce Wayne has heard stories about Tarzan of the Apes. The basic gist of the story is that Bruce Wayne has funded an expedition that has brought several artifacts to this museum in Gotham City. The archaeologist who found all these artifacts is Finnegan Dent, who is kind of sort of an alternate universe version of Harvey Dent, but he's not a lawyer, so he really doesn't have anything in common with Harvey at all. We find that while Bruce is in the opening of the museum, Tarzan is there, and we don't really know what Tarzan's doing in the real world. He said he had business in New York, which led him to Gotham. I don't think it has anything to do with this story. I think it's just he says that as an explanation for what he's doing in this story. But then a woman dressed up in a cat suit, she comes and she is stealing the artifacts from the museum. Batman stops her. Then Tarzan interferes, and Tarzan immediately, this is a little bit of a spoiler, so if you haven't read this, I'm going to put my thumb up, and as long as my thumb is up, I'm going to be spoiling this particular section of the book. Then once my thumb goes down, you can go back to watching the video. So you can mute it or whatever, because I'm going to do spoilers in 5, 4, 3. Okay. Tarzan immediately knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman because he can smell the scent of Bruce Wayne on Batman. And then, I guess I can go ahead and put my thumb down now. Okay, I'm done spoiling. And then the two of these guys, Tarzan and Batman, they find out that this lady, she is from a secret hidden kingdom in the depths of Africa. Tarzan hasn't even heard of this kingdom, and she is reclaiming these artifacts because they were stolen from her city. And Finnegan Dent is planning to go back to Africa to steal everything else from her city. So the three of these people are going to go there and they're going to stop Finnegan Dent. And that's basically the story. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, a week or two ago, I reviewed Superman Tarzan, Sons of the Jungle. And one of my very big problems with that story was that it felt like it was moving way too fast, but it had just a lot of meat in it. Because it starts with Tarzan being born, and then it ends with Tarzan in his 30s. And I felt like for like a 96-page story, it really should have slowed down a little bit, or it should have been a little bit longer, so that we could have paced ourselves a little bit better and had more of an idea of what was going on in the story. Here, I do feel like we do get a better paced story. We're not starting with Bruce Wayne's parents getting murdered and then jumping forward 20 years and then we're seeing Tarzan getting born. This is all taking place in the span of less than a week, and I think that works for a story of this size. I'm pretty sure this story is about as long as Tarzan, Superman, Sons of the Jungle, but I could be wrong. It says, I think it's like 96 pages, and that's how long it is, so you can be the judge of that. Another issue I had with Superman, Tarzan, Sons of the Jungle was that I wanted a Superman story. I was looking for Superman books, and I found that, and I thought, well, this is probably going to be 50-50 Tarzan, Superman. As it turned out, it was really more like 70-30 Tarzan, Superman. But a lot of the stuff in the book I did not understand because I don't read Tarzan. So a lot of it was just kind of going way over my head because a lot of it was stuff about Tarzan, and I kind of got the feeling that you were meant to know those things going into the story, but I did not know those things because, again, I don't read Tarzan. Here, I feel like the distribution is a little bit better. Most of this story is still taking place on Tarzan's home turf in the sense that almost the whole story is set in Africa, but at the same time, this is not like once they get there, then Batman becomes a second-string character and Tarzan is like mighty and powerful. Because, like I said, Tarzan does not know about this city, so in a way, Batman and Tarzan are both kind of strangers in a foreign land, so to speak. And also, even though most of this story takes place in Africa, two of the main characters outside of Tarzan and Batman are a guy based on Two-Face and a lady based on Catwoman. Now, neither of these characters are actually the characters from the Batman comics, but you can definitely tell that that is the way of the creators trying to make this a little bit of an even split. The story is set in Tarzan's homeland, but the two major characters who are not the ones in the title, they are basically Batman characters, but they're made a little bit more Tarzan-y. So instead of Harvey Dent being a lawyer who fights in the courtroom, he's an archaeologist and he goes into Africa. So it's kind of like taking Batman characters and turning them a little bit into Tarzan characters, sort of. So I thought that worked really well. One aspect of this book that I wasn't especially crazy about was the art. The artist here is Igor Kordy, or Igor Kordy. I'm not really sure how to say his name, and I have never been a huge fan of his artwork. It's very cartoony at times, very... it's hard for me to explain. I should probably go ahead and... Oh, that's a spoiler page. I'm not going to show you that one. The art here is, at times, very fitting. Like, here's a panel of Batman, Tarzan, and the Catwoman and a lion going off into the jungle to find this hidden city. That was a very interesting panel. It was very well done, I thought. But there are times when the characters look almost cartoony. The style is very similar to Richard Corbin. If you have seen any of his art, I know a while back I did a review of a graphic novel called Star the Slayer, and it was drawn by Corbin. The style is very similar to that. And it could also be that my very first experience with Igor Kordy's artwork was in New X-Men about 10 years ago, and I really didn't like his art there, and then I later found out that around that time he was trying to draw 4 comic books at the same time, and I can definitely understand that when an artist tries to do that, their skills are going to become a little bit sloppy because they're trying to do too much at once. So it's very possible that I just have kind of a not great track record with Kordy's artwork. Here, at times, it's really fantastic, and then at times I'm like, that doesn't really work for me. Overall, this story is a very simple story. It doesn't try to do too much for the little space that it has. I think it does just the right amount in the space that it's given, and I think it works very well. And after the end of this story, I found myself asking, why can't we have another Tarzan Batman book? This was pretty interesting, like maybe a sequel to this book or something. And naturally, we're not going to have that sequel, I don't think, because this is from around the same time that the Sons of the Jungle crossover happened. I believe this was from 2003, so it's about 10 years old, I guess. But I really enjoyed this book, and I recommend it to anybody who wants to read something that is just a standalone story. Quite often, I will find a book, and it's like, okay, I want to read that. And then I find out, oh, there's all this necessary reading that you have to get through before you can read the book that you wanted to read. And by the time you read 10 or 11 books of necessary backstory, you're not really in the mood to read that one book that you were wanting to read. This is the perfect cure for that, because it's 96 pages, it stands on its own, you don't have to be especially familiar with Tarzan. I think this kind of gets you through the Tarzan mythos a little better than the Sons of the Jungle crossover. And also, if you have seen just about any Batman movie, you're going to know everything you need to know before going into this book about Batman. So I definitely recommend this book. Not really a very long review. I just wanted to kind of throw it out there, say, if you see this somewhere, go ahead and pick it up. And I know it's been about 10-ish years since this came out, but I've only recently read it, like yesterday as of me filming this, and I just wanted to throw my thoughts out there, especially since I had a similar video in the Sons of the Jungle review a week or two ago, so I kind of thought this might make a good companion piece video. So, that is about all I have to say. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, I hope you will like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you have read this book, maybe tell me in the comments below what you thought. Or if you have detailed thoughts and they can't fit within 500 characters in the comment section of YouTube, then maybe you could do a video response. I will see you guys tomorrow with a different kind of video. So, I will catch you then. Have a good day.